Hello, and welcome to Prayer of the First Light. If you want to start each day with words that transform your life and bring you closer to God, this is the right place. Just subscribe to the channel now, activate the notification bell, and walk with us on this journey of faith and inspiration. There was a man named Adrian Morrow, a painter who didn't paint pictures, but waited. He lived in a small village surrounded by mountains and fog, where time seemed to sleep. Everyone said he had given up on life, but no one knew that Adrian was simply learning to listen to the silence. His studio was a sanctuary of unfinished canvases, as if each stroke were an interrupted prayer. He believed that the true miracle of art lay not in finishing, but in enduring the interval between beginning and end. It was in this invisible pause that his soul began to blossom, not through haste, but through patience. One morning, a child knocked on his door, curious about his colorless paintings. "Why are your canvases all gray?" she asked. Adrian smiled and replied, "Because what is beautiful must learn to be born in the dark." That phrase echoed through the village like a riddle. The people mocked him, the painter who paints nothing, but Adrian simply watched the sky as if waiting for something only he could see. Time, for him, was not an enemy. It was a paintbrush. Each day of silence was a new layer of invisible light. He believed that what delays is not absence, it is care. The years passed, and winter came early. Adrian fell ill, and his body could no longer bear the weight of the days. Even so, he painted, slowly, with the calm of someone conversing with their own destiny. One night, during a storm, the wind opened the window of his studio and knocked over one of his canvases. When the rain touched the painting, the colors began to emerge on their own, as if they were alive, awaiting the touch of time. In the morning, the entire village gathered before the work. A sunrise painted with storm drops. That painting, called God's Time, changed everything. The people who had once mocked now fell silent before the beauty born of delay. Adrian never woke up again, but his art lived on, a reminder that the invisible also creates. The colors that emerged from the rain seemed to whisper, "Nothing stands still, even when the world is silent." And so, the village learned what he had always known, that miracles don't happen when everything resolves itself, but when the heart decides to wait. Years later, the child who had once visited him grew up and became a painter. She told everyone, "Adrian taught me that faith is the brush that works in the dark." In his first exhibition, he displayed a gray, empty canvas and wrote beneath it, "Not every absence is a lack. Sometimes it's God preparing the next stroke." The audience wept silently, feeling the sacred weight of time between the lines. It was as if art itself breathed hope, as if each weight were, in fact, a birth in disguise. And so, Adrian Morrow's name became a legend, not for his fame, but for his patience. His legacy taught that there is beauty in pauses, faith in silences, and strength in delays. Because when the sky seems still, it is only God painting the invisible. And those who learn to wait discover that even time has the hands of an artist. The canvas of life, after all, is never still, only being perfected by the one who knows exactly when to reveal the right color. There are moments in life when everything seems to pause, as if time stretched out and the sky remained silent. You pray, dream, believe, but nothing seems to change. It is in these moments that your heart begins to doubt its purpose, and your mind whispers, "Has God forgotten me?" But it is precisely there, in this invisible interval, that the Creator is shaping what your eyes cannot yet see. He works in the hidden, preparing the ground for something that only blossoms when the soul learns to trust. "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Every silence has a purpose. Every wait has a divine reason. Gold does not shine until it passes through the fire, and faith does not mature without the test of time. While you think nothing is happening, heaven is in motion, organizing encounters, aligning paths, opening doors you cannot yet see. Delay is not denial, it is preparation. God's timing is not delayed, it reveals itself at the exact moment the heart is ready. God has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. When the heart grows impatient, it's easy to forget that Jesus himself waited 30 years to begin his ministry. He, who had the power to transform the world in the blink of an eye, chose silence and preparation. Perhaps what you call delay is God teaching you the rhythm of heaven, a rhythm that doesn't rush but matures each promise to perfection, because true faith is not measured by haste but by trust in the one who promised. For he who promised is faithful. Hebrews 10:23. While you wait, something sacred is happening within you. Patience is not an absence of action, it is a profound form of faith. God is not punishing you for the time that passes. He is strengthening you, teaching you to remain at peace even when the wind doesn't blow. It's in the pauses that he speaks most deeply, in the delays that he builds character, and in the silences that he writes the most beautiful chapters of your story. Those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Do you know why waiting hurts so much? Because we want to control time, but time belongs to God. When you place the clock of your life in his hands, the weight of anxiety begins to dissolve. It's liberating to realize that you don't need to understand everything to trust. Faith doesn't ask for explanations. It simply rests in the love of one who has never failed. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. Imagine a farmer silently gazing at the soil. He knows the seed is germinating, even if his eyes see nothing. Faith is the same, invisible in haste, but alive in the right time. There are promises that are only growing in the darkness, and when they sprout, no one can deny that it was God who made them. So don't uproot what's still being planted, wait in hope. Those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. Psalm 126:5. On days when your heart grows weary and your faith seems small, remember, even the desert blooms when God breathes upon it. The absence of signs is not an absence of presence. Even when everything seems still, his love moves silently. And when the time of the promise arrives, you will understand that every tear watered the miracle that now blossoms before you. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. Perhaps you are waiting for a miracle, but God is making you the miracle. Transformation begins in the heart that learns to rest in the midst of doubt. When the soul chooses peace over haste, the impossible begins to move. What is silence today will be song tomorrow. What was waiting will become testimony. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord. Jeremiah 17:7. Waiting is not wasted time. It is sacred time. It is the interval in which God builds within you what will sustain what he will give you. If he hasn't opened the door yet, it's because he's teaching you to walk with faith before running with blessings. Maturity is the true miracle that precedes the fulfillment of the promise. Let patience be your perfect work. James 1:4. And when the right time finally comes, you will look back and understand that every minute of waiting was divine preparation. That silence wasn't absence, it was construction. That the heart that learned to trust gained not only the promise, but also peace. And you will realize, with tears and gratitude, that it was worth the wait. All things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. There are times when the soul seems to live in a constant rush, as if time were always slipping away, and the heart, weary, tries to catch up. But what if true strength isn't in running, but in remaining calm? When you learn to wait in God's right time, something within you changes. The chaos loses its power and the silence begins to speak. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Patience is not a lack of action. It is faith in motion. It is the courage to rest, even when everything demands urgency. It is trusting that the divine clock never runs late. God works in the unseen, in the pauses, in the waiting, in the not yets. Those who understand this exchange anxiety for serenity and fear for confidence. But those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. When you slow down, the world gains color again. The little things become valuable again. The hot coffee in the morning, someone's smile, the sunset you rarely saw. Patience teaches you to see the miracle hidden in the ordinary, the beauty in the simple, the purpose in the silence. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Haste creates noise, but God speaks in the stillness. Perhaps that's why, sometimes, He asks you to stop, to not move until your heart hears again. The sound of peace is soft, almost imperceptible, but it transforms everything when you recognize it. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall keep silent. Exodus 14:14. There are miracles that don't happen while we rush, but they blossom when we decide to wait. God's timing is like that of a seed, invisible on the surface, but full of life within. Patience is the faith that chooses to believe, even without seeing any sprouts. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Have you noticed that even Jesus waited? He waited 30 years before beginning his ministry. He waited for the right moment for each miracle, because he knew that the right time is part of the right plan. And if even the Son of God waited, who are we to rush the purpose? For the vision is still for an appointed time. Habakkuk 2:3. Impatience steals joy, but faith restores it. When you trust in God's pace, your heart finds rest even when the path seems slow. It's not a lack of progress, it's preparation. Heaven doesn't rush, but it never fails. Cast all your care on Him, because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Maybe you're stuck between "it has already happened" and "it hasn't yet." And that hurts. But remember, the desert is also part of the promise. God isn't punishing you, He's polishing you. Waiting is the fire that purifies gold. Be patient, therefore, until the coming of the Lord, as a farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth. James 5:7. Peace doesn't come when everything is resolved. It's born when you surrender control. It's when you say, "Your will be done," and truly believe it. That's when your soul takes a deep breath and fear fades. "A peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you." John 14:27. Every delay has a hidden purpose. Every wait is a divine opportunity for growth. Sometimes God is simply teaching you to depend more on Him and less on the clock. Haste is human, but time is sacred. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. If today it seems like nothing is happening, remember, the seed grows in the darkness. God is working behind the scenes of your story, weaving together promises that have not yet arrived. Wait, because what comes after the wait is always greater than the pain of the present. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. Patience transforms not only time, but who you become within it. It teaches you to trust more, love more, and complain less. The delay that bothers you today will be the test of God's faithfulness tomorrow. He who calls you is faithful, and He will also do it. 1 Thessalonians 5:24. God is not late, He prepares. What seems slow is actually the perfect framework for the right miracle. While you wait, He works, and while He works, the right time draws near. He who began a good work in you will also complete it. Philippians 1:6. Calm your heart, breathe. The peace you seek is not in tomorrow, it is in trusting today. Patience is the place where the soul finds God, and when you find Him, nothing else is urgent. In quietness and trust shall be your strength, Isaiah 30:15. So stop rushing and start trusting, because those who wait on God never waste time, they mature. What He promised, He will fulfill, and when the right time comes, you will understand the reason for each delay. For the Lord is faithful in all His promises. Psalm 145:13. There are times when the human heart cries out for immediate answers, when silence seems unfair and the waiting unbearable. But what is revealed in this interval is something divine, the art of trust. When you learn to rest in God's will, even without understanding the reason for the delays, you discover that every second of waiting is shaping you for something much greater. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Patience is not a sign of weakness. It is the mark of those who know the power of a God who works in the unseen. While you think nothing is happening, heaven is aligning you with promises that require maturity to be sustained. What seems like delay is actually preparation. The Lord will act on behalf of those who wait for Him. Isaiah 64:4. Many believe that success is synonymous with haste, but in God's view, it is born of calm. Joseph waited years in silence before seeing his dream come true. Moses spent 40 years in the desert before freeing his people. Waiting is not the end of the road. It is the process that builds the strength of purpose. To everything there is a season. Ecclesiastes 3:1. When the soul calms down, the heart begins to hear what the noise of haste previously prevented from perceiving. It is in this space of silence that God speaks loudest. He does not shout amid the chaos. He whispers in the stillness of faith. True power lies not in rushing, but in trusting. Those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Impatience makes you lose the brightness of the present. While you focus on what has not yet arrived, you forget to be grateful for what you already have. Gratitude opens doors that anxiety closes. God is not late, He prepares. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Psalm 37:5. Waiting for God is a fertile field where deep roots grow. Those who learn to wait with faith flourish in the right time. Like the farmer who trusts in the harvest season, trust in the timing of the promise. What comes from God doesn't need to be rushed. It needs to be lived. He who began a good work in you will certainly complete it. Philippians 1:6. Often, God hides you to protect you. He delays the journey not out of punishment, but out of care. There are blessings that can only be delivered when you are ready to sustain them. So, take a deep breath and trust. The Lord is good to those who wait for Him. Lamentations 3:25. In the silence of waiting, God works in the unseen. He molds people, adjusts circumstances, and transforms hearts. True faith doesn't need seeing to believe. It rests knowing that the promise is on the way. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. When everything seems to stand still, remember God's clock doesn't slow down. He simply operates in a different dimension. What seems slow to you is precision to Him. Every detail is being aligned in perfect timing. 1,000 years are as one day with the Lord. 1 Peter 3:8. Patience is the shield of the wise and the weapon of those who trust. It protects you from anxiety and leads you to wisdom. While the world rushes on, the patient flourishes in silence, sustained by faith. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience. Galatians 5:22. God hasn't forgotten you. He's simply teaching you to wait with purpose. Delay is the school of trust, where you learn that solid promises are not born of haste, but of perseverance. Be patient in tribulation, persevere in prayer. Romans 12:12. There are blessings that arrive wrapped in silence. While you wait, heaven watches you grow. God's timing is not a delay, it is divine preparation for something beyond your request. For I know the plans I have for you. Jeremiah 29:11. Silent strength doesn't shout, it remains firm when everyone else gives up. It is the gentle voice of faith that says it will still be worth it. And when the promise is finally fulfilled, you understand that the wait was the soil where God planted your victory. I waited quietly for the Lord, and he inclined toward me. Psalm 41. So, don't fight against time, walk with it. God doesn't move out of anxiety, but with purpose. Every day, something invisible is being aligned to manifest the extraordinary in your life. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved. Psalm 125:1. Patience is the language of the strong, the calm sound of those who believe without needing to prove it. When you learn to wait in peace, miracles cease to be a distant hope and become a living certainty. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. Proverbs 16:20. There are times when God works in silence, and it is in this silence that he speaks most. When nothing seems to happen, heaven is moving pieces that you cannot yet see. Delay is not absence, it is care. The Father is strengthening you, shaping your faith, preparing your heart for something greater. Waiting is not a detour, it is the path, and when the right time comes, everything will make sense. To everything there is a season. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There are blessings that arrive quietly, but with power. They do not enter through the door of haste, but through the gate of trust. As you pray, the Lord sets the scene. He has not forgotten you. He is simply writing a more beautiful chapter than you imagined. What seems like a delay today will be a testimony tomorrow. He who began a good work in you will complete it. Philippians 1:6. God's timing does not follow the human clock. He is not late, he is precise. Every tear, every pause, every wait has an invisible purpose. What he promised, he fulfills. Even if the process seems long, heaven never rushes because it knows the perfect time to act. 1,000 years with the Lord are like a day gone by. Psalm 94. God has not forgotten what he promised you. He's simply maturing you so that when the blessing comes, you will be ready to sustain it. He doesn't want you to just receive, he wants you to endure. And it is in the desert that we learn the value of rain. Stand firm, because the promise is still alive. Those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. Psalm 126:5. While you wait, heaven works. Even when everything seems still, God is moving the invisible. He is adjusting hearts, opening paths, healing wounds, and preparing opportunities. Faith is not about seeing, it is about trusting even in the dark. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Blessings don't come when you want them, but when you need them. God knows when your structure can bear the weight of the promise. He doesn't deprive you, he protects you. Sometimes, what you call delay is God's mercy preventing something untimely. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. Waiting is the training of faith. It is there that God reveals who you are and how much you trust him. Don't waste the desert murmuring, use it to grow. Every prayer that seems unanswered is a seed being watered in silence. Faith is the assurance of what we hope for. Hebrews 11:1. God doesn't work under pressure. He works with purpose. And purpose always comes before haste. When he holds you back a little, it's because he's building something solid. What grows quickly can quickly be lost, but what grows in God's timing endures. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. There are things that God delays just to protect you. What didn't happen today might prevent you from achieving something much greater tomorrow. God's timing is mercy in disguise. He sees the big picture, while you see the present. Because all things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. When everything seems still, remember, heaven is never silent. What seems absent is only the gentle sound of God's care. He is preparing you to carry joy without fear, peace without doubt, and victory without pride. The Lord will fight for you. Only be still. Exodus 14:14. What hurts today will be answered tomorrow. Every weight has a divine purpose hidden within it. God hasn't forgotten what He promised you. He is simply polishing you. Pain is the chisel that shapes your faith. And let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap. Galatians 6:9. God's timing is both a lesson and a miracle. He teaches you to trust, and when you do, He surprises you. Nothing that belongs to you will arrive before the right time, but nothing can stop it when the time comes. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Waiting is not punishment, it is construction. God is preparing you for something that matches your growth, not your anxiety. While you despair for answers, He is molding in you the maturity necessary to receive them. The Lord will perfect what concerns me. Psalm 138:8. There is no silence in vain for those who trust in God. Every second of waiting is an invisible brick in the edifice of your faith. You are not being forgotten. You are being polished. And when the right time comes, the blessing will come so complete that you will understand why it took so long. All things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. God's promise doesn't expire, it only matures. Time doesn't erase it, it only strengthens it. And when heaven's clock strikes, nothing and no one can stop what He has planned for you. What comes from God is never late. It arrives at the perfect time. And therefore I know the plans I have for you. Jeremiah 29:11. Prayer, Lord, in this moment of silence, I breathe and rest in your presence. I know that even when time seems to stand still, your love continues to move. Each pause carries an invisible purpose, and even when I don't understand, I choose to trust. Teach me to see beauty in the interval, faith in the delay, and peace in what has not yet arrived. May my heart learn to wait, not with fear, but with serene hope, knowing that everything is being shaped by your hands. Dear God, I thank you for every moment in which silence has taught me more than words, for every tear that has watered my faith, and for every day in which your timing has sustained me. When my heart hurries and fear whispers, remind me that you are the God who works in the unseen. May I learn to rest even without seeing, to smile even without understanding, to trust even without feeling, because I know that your promise never fails, only blossoms in heaven's perfect timing. Lord, calm the winds within me, silence the anxiety that tries to outpace your plans. Teach me the rhythm of your love, the one that never delays but ripens everything perfectly. May my faith not be filled with haste, but with trust, not with fear, but with surrender. May I know how to wait with a light heart, knowing that while I wait, you act. May each day become a reminder that your clock never errs and your timing never fails. Father, if the wait is long, give me strength. If the path is dark, kindle within me the light of your presence. May patience not be merely an act of waiting, but an exercise of living faith. May I learn to see the invisible and trust in the improbable. Even when everything seems at a standstill, help me remember that heaven continues to work, that your love continues to shape me, and that every second is in perfect harmony with your purpose. My God, I surrender to you the clock of my life. I surrender my plans, my dreams, my deadlines, and my doubts. May every delay be transformed into wisdom, and every silence into communion with you. May I learn to love you not only when I receive, but also when I wait. Because faith is not about having control. It is about trusting in the one who has never failed. May my soul rest, knowing that your timing is the exact frame for the miracle to come. And when the right time comes, when the colors that are hidden today begin to emerge, may my heart remember it was worth the wait. May every tear become a seed, and every prayer the brush of your miracle. Thank you, Lord, for teaching me that waiting is not loss, it is preparation. May I never forget that your love moves even when everything seems still, and that your promise, Lord, always blossoms in the perfect timing of your heart. If this prayer touched your heart, write Amen in the comments. Share this video with someone you love and click the like button to help us bring this message to more people. Subscribe now to the Prayer of the First Light channel